Hi everyone, Jane here. Thank you so much for watching my video today. Welcome to you all. Today I am going a bit abstract. I had quite a bad headache for the last couple of days. Something I do, I generally just suffer from them for many different reasons. But I wasn't feeling like I wanted to do anything too taxing today. But I really did want to have a play around in a sort of journal. This sort of thing that I've got here was an A5 Daler Rowney mixed media pad, and I think I bought it from TK Maxx. It was quite cheap, but when I got it home and I went to use it, the binding on the side to the cover was really being very annoying. It just wouldn't turn properly. So in the end, I decided to just take the binding totally off, and the cover and the back cover, and get rid of those and just add some book rings in to make it just a sort of a play paper journal. It's only mixed media paper. It's nothing, super expensive. So I thought that would be a good one to use with my products today. And that's something that if you're worried about, you want to have a play, you're worried about using your good paper. I don't particularly worry about using my good paper, but when I'm using things like acrylics, I tend to go more for mixed media because I don't see the point in using my watercolor paper so much. But just get that sort of thing out. Now you can see I had a play around with how I wanted to lay out my page. I went with the simple one in the end, and I can see now looking at it, it's totally wonky, but it didn't matter because this was just for fun. I have to say nearly everything I do is just for fun. In fact, I'm going to rephrase that. Everything I do is just for fun. I don't sell anything. So, it's all just for me and you. But I got out the Amsterdam little acrylic paints. Now, I don't know if these are the best acrylic paints going. I suspect not. I think there's a sort of student grade paint. But the reason I chose this set was because I got a lot of colours and they're little dinky tubes, so they're not taking up tons of space. I can fit them in a basket next to my table, so I can grab them when I need them, which is what I love. And I just wanted to do a little bit of reductive stenciling. I always think that sounds so clever and posh. Reductive stenciling, which basically just means you stick down some paint, you put the stencil over the top, and you rub away some of the paint. So it's sort of like using the stencil in its reverse-ish order. But I have left this video all practically in one long piece of film today. And so you will get some drying, which I apologise for. It has been sped up just by 2 times. So the videos are roughly just under 10 minutes, I do believe. So the whole process took about 20 minutes from start to finish. And I did it all just in one go. I grabbed some stuff beforehand and then I just went for it and just played, really. So the stencils were a mixture of sort of like some of the small stencils I've got from Crafty. I just grabbed them. I don't know which ones they were. I was just picking out ones that I thought looked nice. I used them with the paints, and now I've decided to add on some acrylic inks, and these are the ones I bought recently in a when I was on holiday. I did show them in a haul, and in the end I went for the pink, which is, I've got it in front of me and I can't really see. I think it's Magenta. They're both Pearlescent. One was Magenta and the other one is Genesis Green. So I will list what I used and the colours I used in the description box below, because I realise I haven't told you what colours I used for the paints. So I was having a go. I was just drying this off, and when you've got acrylic is basically plastic, and if you hold your heat tool over it for quite a long time, it will bubble. Now, a lot of the time people don't want that, and so therefore probably it's best if you leave things to dry on their own. But I'm very impatient, and I actually like the texture you get. So you will see me with this bit here, with the pink had gone down quite thick with the acrylic ink. I'd left some of it really thick. I'd scraped some out with my catalyst tool, which you saw me do just a little while ago. And so I let it bubble because I thought that would be a bit fun. Then I got out a darker coloured paint because I wanted to add something darker on here. Now, I have made projects in the past that probably look a little bit similar to this project today. And that's something else I would say, is that if you are struggling, but you want to do something, you don't know what to do, go back to something you love. Go back to something you've done before. Find something in your journals that you really enjoy doing and recreate it. You could recreate it exactly, or you could switch up some of the colours, switch up some of the stencils or stamps or whatever it was you used. But, you know, don't feel that you have to be creating something brand new every time, because of course you don't, especially if it's just for you. It's for you to enjoy. So I'm using this leafy stencil because it is one of my favourites. I love the look it gives. But this time I'm using it with the Dyna, D-Y-N-A, Dyna paints from Pebeo, and it is, I think it's blackish blue or bluish black. It's an iridescent paint, and I just thought it looked really nice. Then, because I'd got that contrast with the dark, I wanted a bit of contrast with a light, so I went in with a tiny stencil. And this is a good tip for if you are thinking about how you can make your stencils all work together. I see it as like a balancing up between big open spaces and little tiny spaces, and that contrast between the two can often be what creates a nice look to your brain. It's your brain, isn't it? Your brain is looking, your eyes are looking into your brain. But and that, I think that gives it a nice sort of flow. Now I was going to go in with the gold Copic on top of the leaves, and then I thought, no, I'm going to go in with a colour. So because I had that little bit of pink in the background, I thought it'd be nice to have a little bit of pink on the leaves. And I'm going in the end with my Arrtx pen. Oh, sorry, my head was popped in there. And I just wanted to do a little bit on the leaves just to give a little bit of veining, not too much. I wasn't going in too mad. But I had decided at that point, because that gold was now in my head, and I thought, I want to use some gold. I got my bigger Posca pen out that's gold, and I pumped out some of the ink from inside, and then I used that to add some gold splatters, because I just decided that I was going to stick to all acrylics on this page. So from paint to ink to pen, was that it? That's it, isn't it? That was the three. So it's acrylic paint, acrylic ink, and acrylic paint pen. Or ink pen, marker pen, I never know. So I'm just giving it a good dry again, and then I will be removing the tape. So I'm heating up the tape. I got myself in a bit of a pickle trying to do this, trying not to burn myself, but it just heats that gum up a little bit. Now with the mixed media paper, I do find that it does sometimes grab it and tear it a little bit, because it is just my mixed media. It's not, you know, anything too posh. Well, I don't treat anything as posh, but you know, it is just mixed media paper. I don't worry too much, but by heating it, it just warms that gum up a bit. Then I was deciding, do I want to just leave it as an abstract piece, or do I want to put a sentiment on? And I do love words. So this is a stamp set that I designed for Cleverprints. It's called Crafty Sentiments. So it's got all things to do with art and craft. They were designed to sort of either go in journaling or onto cards. I sort of wanted this one, Make a Beautiful Mess Today. But ideally what I wanted was the white embossing on the black. Now what I've done here is I just stamp out loads of things and then put them on a little bit of foam pad, and then they're on these sheets. I think they're designed for diamond painting, you know, the diamond dots for putting over. But I just bought some and I use them to stick those on, so you can pull them off and put them back on. So I decided in the end I did want to go with that sentiment, even though it was the white on the black. And here is the final finished piece. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you're feeling like you want to just have a play today. That's what I say. And at the end of the video, you'll see a list of my lovely super supporters who are my members. Thank you very much to them. And I will put a bit of information in the, I'll put a link in the description box of how you can become a member if that's something you are interested in. So thank you ever so much. And if you have enjoyed the video, do please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed, it would be fabulous if you could do that too. And until the next time, bye bye.